First Sip Brew Box is a one-of-a-kind subscription service for craft beer lovers based right here in Pittsburgh. Every month, First Sip will send you a box full of craft beer enthusiast essentials including t-shirts, glassware, and even food. Right now, our friends at First Sip Brew Box have an offer for you. Just sign up for a 3-month subscription and get your 4th month free. Just enter the code HOPUSA when you sign up at firstsipbrewbox.com. That's HOPUSA at checkout to get your 4th month free at firstsipbrewbox.com.
Woe to you, O earth and sea.
It's the Hop Nation USA Podcast.
Coming to you live from the Spoonwood Brewery. It's episode 79 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. I'm joined with my host, as always, Adam.
Good to be here.
And we have our favorite third mic when he's on the show, Dennis.
I'm here for you guys.
And we're joined by Steve Ilnicki from Spoonwood Brewery, the head brewer here.
Hey, happy to be here.
Thanks for coming on. And as always, I'm regular Steve.
Regular.
I'm just regular Steve.
You're the one that's on the knobs, the ones and the twos, the man that does the mixing. I'm running out of platitudes here.
That's fine. You don't have to.
You pretty much covered all of them.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's not about me. It's about other Steve tonight.
That's right. Regular Steve, your chop liver.
That's right. So thanks for coming on the show with us, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We've been trying to get down here for a while.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah.
Long time in the works.
But we are finally here. We are finally able to try some of your beers. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we might as well just kick it right off. Obviously, we're going to be doing Spoonwood beers tonight, but they have a very special beer coming out this week, and we want to focus on that. So I'll just let other Steve take it away, and he can introduce us to the brand new hotness.
Cool, yeah. So this is the 3rd year that we've done a benefit beer for the Turtle Survival Alliance, and each year we do a stupid turtle pun. This year it's called Turtle Waste of Time. And we can talk about that, and you'll take a look at the can and see what the turtle has in his hands there, and maybe even look at the color scheme on the can, and maybe you recognize it from a certain website. But this year's beer is a black lager, and it's just a basic beer. It's a no frills kind of a beer, and that's what we wanted to go for, sort of in the face of what's been going on in brewing, and also up against what we've done for the previous 2 beers for this event. Those other 2 beers that we've done were more like bells and whistles kind of beers with a lot of adjuncts.
Yeah. I mean, I remember last year's was Turtle Recall, but I remember it was an IPA that was a lot like the Dogfish Head Lupa Luau. I kind of like the Turtle Recall a little bit more, but I mean, I still really like just kind of that pineapple coconut IPA.
Right, it was definitely really unique and tasty for sure.
And it was fresh, so I like that. But I'm definitely,
yeah, it makes a difference.
I'm definitely interested in the black lager now.
So this is more of a back to, I shouldn't say back to basics, but back to your roots kind of thing.
It sort of is, yeah. I mean, it's a really basic style. We weren't going for any kind of a traditional like Schwarzbier or anything like that. It's lager yeast and some dark malts and some two-row malts, and sort of I think the malts kind of speak for themselves, being that it's a lager.
Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah,
That's true.
hopefully that's the case.
So we should probably find that out.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a black lager. So
wow.
Taking a look at it, it's pretty black.
Yeah, it's dark.
Yeah, dark beer. But it has a nice like tan head to it.
Yeah, if you just walked up to it, you could be convinced that this was a stout or a porter.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This thing absorbs all light.
Yeah, it's definitely dark.
On the nose, there's a lot of maltiness, though.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
So just out of curiosity, what was the ABV on this one?
This one is rather light. It's 4.8.
Oh, so this is an easy drinker.
It is, yeah. I mean, it kind of has that Guinness thing going on, where it's intimidating in its appearance. A lot of people will say, I can't drink dark beers. They're just so heavy. It's not the case at all with Guinness or with this beer either.
Right.
So with that in mind, is there any chance that this is only in cans, correct?
We will have some limited draft, which we will have available this weekend.
Is there any chance that would be served on nitro? similar to a Guinness?
We're actually not going to.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, most of the batch did wind up in cans.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
Adam just likes to check. He enjoys his nitro.
I do.
I've already
I've
jumped
never
in.
seen a nitro lager. Have you guys ever had a lager that was? I'm not saying
Nitro
that hasn't been.
porter,
I'm just saying
nitro
that I haven't.
stout.
No, but that doesn't mean it can't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the weirdest nitro I've had is the Rubaeus by Founders.
Oh, that was
Like
really
that-
good.
Yeah, it's just a real velvety raspberry. Yeah,
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 big fan.
yeah.
I think
I
it
like that
works.
one.
It really works on that.
It does. But I've already jumped ahead on the black lager. It's pretty good.
Oh, you already went ahead and
Yeah,
drank? Oh,
yeah. I've already
okay.
been tasting.
That old
Yeah,
Steve.
mine's mostly good.
It's yeah, it's got that real sessionable drinking quality to it. Like it's nice and smooth. It's, yeah. This is definitely better than a Yingling. I would.
Wow, high praise.
I mean,
No, that is. I mean, Yingling's been around 1829.
Yinglings are great.
also coming from me as a person who doesn't like Yingling.
Right, that's the thing. Yeah, like for me, that's my baseline. Yingling is my baseline.
My go-to if there's no craft options wherever I am is to just pick up a Yingling.
Agreed.
Now, I will say with this right here, I wish that this can be in a lot of different pubs and everything that I frequent because that would be my go-to pool, darts, beer.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, I think this would be everybody's favorite like fall beer right now.
Yeah.
This is an excellent fall beer.
Yeah,
I agree.
and then it's like you said, this is a good pub beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And I think lagers are just underrated. They get a bad rap. So doing a black lager is definitely really unique. And it still gives you a lot of taste with the maltiness in there. So I definitely appreciate it.
So you guys think I'm going to be able to get a picture of this for $2.25 at the Buckeyes game?
No,
Okay.
no. I'll just tell you that right now. No.
All right. Well, then let's move on and let's talk to Steve more about just Spoonwood in general. How long have you guys been open?
We are near the end of our 4th year. So we opened January 2015.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been coming here for probably about 3 years, I think.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
And we have our co-host Sam who lives in the area, so that kind of draws us out here, especially because you guys have that really nice patio outside and everything, and it's just like you guys have some of my favorite beers that have emerged in the scene out here. I think the Cold Drip City we talk about on the show all the
tasty.
time.
Awesome. Yeah, I
That
appreciate
smoking oats I still remembered from last year. Like I've had dreams about it.
that. Yeah, we are definitely the best brewery on Baptist Road.
There you go.
Hands down.
Now that's something that needs to go on a T-shirt.
Best brewery, and then
Make that happen.
Dennis can sell it on the sell it on his store.
So those brew boxes.
Yeah. Awesome. So what kind of was the original initiation of opening Spoonwood though? Like you're not just a good brewery, you also have like a really good food menu and everything. So how did this whole thing come about, being that you have such great food and great beer?
It wasn't always that way, I don't think, to be perfectly honest. When we first started, we knew that we wanted to have a food element. Obviously, that was part of the planning because this was a purpose-built building, new from the ground up. So the kitchen was always a part of it. But how we have come to utilize the kitchen has definitely changed. When we first opened, we were thinking brewery, and what can we put on the side of it so that people have something to do while they're drinking. And I think we learned the hard way how the menu needed to evolve, and here we are. And we've actually come a long way. We had the wood-fired pizza oven from the get-go. That's always been there, and I think that's always been a strong sort of central point for the food menu. Last year, we added the smoker, which has also become an integral part of the menu. We've got smoked meats on their own, but then the smoked meats make their way into other parts, like on pizzas and things like that. Like I said, it wasn't always this way, and I think we had to learn some things. None of the people involved in getting this place started are restaurateurs. I certainly am not a restaurant person, so it was a learning process, definitely.
Okay, cool. I guess, if you know the South Hills area, people in the area definitely have their tastes.
Yes.
Trying to not, cast anybody in a highfalutin light or anything, but, they more refined tastes. So
Yes.
I guess it starts when they like the beer, but would like, a menu
Right.
that, also matches that. But that wood-fired pizza is probably one of the best. Oh.
Thinking about it now, you guys do to-go pizzas, right? Like, I can just get it. Okay,
I did not know
I think
that.
I'm taking one home with me, to be honest.
To go, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, then, let's get this episode rolling.
Daddy needs a pizza.
That's right.
Breakfast pizza, Dennis?
The wake and
What do you
bake.
mean?
Have you had their breakfast pizza?
you-
Oh, no, I thought you were saying, like, when I wake up in the morning, I eat pizza, because I did that today. So that's a breakfast pizza to me.
But no,
I was just asking if you
the
had
wake
their
and bake.
No,
Yeah, we got
actually,
the wake and bake.
I haven't.
That is my favorite pizza here
That's a great
Oh.
pie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it your favorite?
because it's the best,
Oh,
and I
tell me
deserve
about
the
it,
best.
because I kind of want some.
It's a breakfast pizza.
Like
It's
sausage.
bacon.
Eggs.
Egg,
There's eggs?
Oh yeah.
How do you do that?
You bet your sweet bippy.
Just you crack an egg on the pizza. I don't make them, but you crack an egg on the pizza and put it in there.
Game changer.
Yep. All right, this
Game
is
changer.
happening.
Yeah.
This is going
Yeah.
on with me.
Well, Dennis is sold.
Yeah. And
That's it.
Somehow this has turned into a pizza podcast.
Yeah, well, whatever. We're drinking turtle beer.
It's true.
Oh, I just got that.
There you go.
Oh, I just got it too. It's like a domino effect.
It'll go around.
122 and an 8.
Everybody will catch it.
So obviously, before Spoonwood opened, there was brewing talents. I assume that you and your crew were homebrewers before all of this started up. How long were you involved in homebrewing? What was the deciding point to open a brewery? What was the back story?
Right. Yeah, definitely home brewing. I was not as avid of a home brewer as a lot of people are these days, but it was definitely a love of mine, a passion, and it's something that I kind of look back on wistfully. The beer scene has changed so much in recent years, and it's great. A lot of the changes have been for the better, but it's so easy to be nostalgic about the way things were when we first started. You
Those
know, the
damn
first type of
kids.
beers that- yeah, exactly. And that's me, definitely. I'm definitely a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to the brewing scene. But Charlie Papazian, The Joy of Home Brewing, I mean, that was my
Yep.
Bible. Definitely. I've read that
Yep.
book a couple times, cover to cover, and other books that he's written, and Randy Mosher, and things like that. Still kind of, when I feel like I'm losing some direction, I kind of turn back to there as kind of a basis to focus in on what I was feeling and thinking when beer was most exciting.
When it was fun.
Yeah, right.
Still
When it was-
fun.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's fun for me.
it's still fun, but definitely some of the shine. Some of the shine is worn off. Some of the newness is definitely. It's not like it once was for me.
Right.
Is that possibly due to like having to always keep up with trends in a way, or because like you said, like this black lager was just your way of kind of getting back
Back to basics.
So that sounds kind of just like you just decided to do what you wanted to do, but also you have to keep things on tap that are in line with the tastes of people who are drinking.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's so much keeping up with trends, because although, I mean, we definitely do some beers that are more or less current. We don't really go out of our way to do that. We're not really chasing any certain styles.
Okay.
And to be perfectly honest, when you kind of put the whole package together with this beer, total waste of time. Color scheme looks a little bit like a beer rating site that you might be familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
And so we wanted to do a beer that was kind of the antithesis of that, you know, a beer that's not really going to like get people excited to go out and say.
But still, at the same time, they wish that they can have that a lot of the times. Maybe after they had a couple IPAs, they're like, okay, I'm done with all that. I wish I had Turtle wasted time right now.
Yeah, hopefully.
It still has that exclusivity factor
Yeah, I know.
that people will chase. So
Oh yeah.
And the can's beautiful.
yeah. But it definitely has an unnamed thing I don't even use anymore.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
not nearly as much as I used to.
After I got my 1,000 beer badge, I just
Nah.
Oh, yeah. You're referring to Untapped?
could be.
Yeah, I've actually never used it.
Really?
Not once.
Oh, okay.
It just kind of takes away. If there's something I really like, I typically carry around a little beer journal. I just jot it down in there.
Oh,
So
okay.
you were ahead of the times.
Yeah, nothing's better than taking pen to paper.
Yeah, I've never used it either, and I'm not even passing judgment on it when I say
Right.
that. It's just as a matter of fact, I haven't used it.
Yeah.
But I have seen, you know, when we do festivals and things like that. And even, I mean, people out at the bar here, if I happen to be there when somebody has a glass of beer served in front of them, first thing they do is pull out their phone. And I think social media can enhance, whether it's beer or other types of social media, it can enhance the experience. I also see how it can detract from it as well. When you're kind of, instead of just having your firsthand experience with what's in front of you, you're turning to other things that it's weird that to almost like do something where you need to have somebody else's.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to hit on. It kind of steals away from your personal experience because you're doing it just to show other people what you're doing.
Right.
Just to give an example, it's like a stewardess that flies over the world. They take pictures and they save them to post them later to show all the cool things that they're doing. You're living your life for other people as opposed to just doing it for yourself.
Right.
And in that sense, the beer actually becomes secondary, like the actual taste and flavor of the beer.
Right.
Because, there's plenty of beers out there, and I know people post about them, and they don't necessarily taste good, but because they have the associated name, that's the flavor du jour.
Right.
People want to read posts or whatever
It's
about
the it beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and that's kind of why I quit. I don't care about anybody else. I just wanted a journal like you have, Dennis.
Right. What was good, what was bad.
Yeah, because I have a shitty memory.
Right. And I run into plenty of people who say that is the reason that they like it, and I think that's totally legit.
Yeah, as long as you don't let that run your drinking experience, I think it's perfectly fine to use. But like you said, there are people out there that they'll chase that high. They'll find that beer that nobody else can have, that nobody else is going to find. And they'll get it simply so they can check it in, so they can say, look what I got. Which, I mean...
Look what I got and you don't.
Right.
Well, look what we got. We got the turtle waste of time.
Turtle waste of time.
But you can get it too this weekend and longer. And it benefits animals.
Not just any animal.
Well, turtles, of course. So yeah, actually, I wanted to ask more about the charity itself, and also why turtles? Why?
I mean, it's a great question, and I found myself asking that same question before we agreed to do it. A guy who's become a friend of mine, his name's Eric, was somebody who would come into Spoonwood somewhat regularly. He has since moved out of state, but when he lived nearby, he was coming in here, and we sort of got to know each other. And he said, "Hey, by the way, how would you like to make a beer for turtles?" And I thought, why would I make a beer for turtles? Just like you asked me, why would I want to do that? Then I thought about it. I thought, you know what? It's a cool opportunity. As it turns out, people like turtles. They just do. And we find that out firsthand when we have these events, and they bring the turtles here to Spoonwood, and people are really drawn to them and spend all day just kind of they let the turtles walk around out in the grass out there.
That's cool. To be fair, they're not going to run away.
No.
They'll definitely catch them.
That's
won't get far.
That's a pretty easy wrangling job.
Yeah.
But we are certainly not the first brewery to do this. There were at least two others who had done it before we did. And when Eric came to me and said, "Hey, would you like to do this?" There was a brewery in Texas, which is where he now lives, and the name escapes me right now. They may have been the first. And then Holy City is a brewery that maybe you've heard of there in South Carolina.
Okay, yeah.
They have been doing annually. They've been doing a turtle benefit for the TSA as well. And I think they just had their craft beer week over the summer, and I believe they did a new beer.
Okay,
That's cool.
Awesome.
So this is the third or fourth turtle beer?
This is our third one.
Third one? Okay.
What is the actual details on the event this weekend? So everybody, who's listening on Friday.
Right, which you should be.
Yeah, right. So just like any other Saturday, we're open 11:30 a.m. until 11 p.m. The beer will be for sale starting when we open. The group that's bringing the turtles out, they're out near Philly. They're with an outfit called theturtleroom.com. They'll probably be here. They usually get to Spoonwood around 1 o'clock on a Saturday. They'll set up. They'll have their turtles. People can go and interact with them.
That's awesome.
There will be live music, I believe, at 7. And really, it's just centered around coming out, trying the new beer, being around these really cool-looking animals, raising a little bit of money for a good cause.
Well, we're down with that. Adam and I just hosted a charity event for Tales on the Trails, which is for Humane Society. So we're definitely for animals and raising money for animals through the use of beer.
Well, we can also raise animals.
We can raise animals, but
That's
Do you
what
have
I
a
was
question?
thinking in my head, but I would love to raise animals.
So another thing I wanted to touch on, though, is Spoonwood is kind of known for having all of these events. Like, you have cornhole tournaments, like, almost all the time. You have, these charity events. You have live music all the time. Who keeps all that straight, and who decides what, events are going to happen here?
Yeah, I mean, we do try to plan ahead, and we meet as a group a couple of times a month and look out on the calendar. We try to stay at least a month ahead. Like you said, we do cornhole, maybe not quite as often as you think. I think we actually do have a cornhole tournament coming up this weekend on Sunday, and that will be the second one that we've done this year. Live music is something that we try to do every Thursday, at least when the weather's nice, and then we run into, we'll bring the stage indoors when it gets cold, and we try to keep that going as long as we can into the winter. But yeah, we try to keep things interesting for the people who want a little bit more than beer and food.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm down with it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
And you guys have the space for different events. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember whenever, I don't want to say it, but when I had my 30th birthday, back there, you guys definitely have a lot of room, a lot of great appetizers, really good food. Yeah, so I definitely agree with that. I enjoy it.
As a matter of fact, tonight we're back in the brewery.
Yeah.
Because they got live music going on right now.
Yeah, Scott Blasey, the lead singer of the Clarks, is
Right.
taking up space.
And if you're listening in Pittsburgh, you know who that is.
Yeah.
Cigarette.
Proud every time.
Great. Well, you want to come back to this beer? Your
Yeah,
final thoughts?
definitely. Bottom line, I like it. I drink it again.
Me too.
That was easy.
It's not only is it a good beer, but it also goes to a good cause. So
Yeah.
that's an easy beer to double up on.
I mean, yeah, it's an easy review. It's a good beer. I drink it again.
Yeah. It's a good review for me since I'm not a big lager fan, but that's actually
That's very true.
it's got a little bit of that dark roastiness, and like the maltiness is not too heavy for me.
But it's still enough it still has that kind of lagerness to it.
Yeah, and it's just like sessionable, especially for fall.
Right.
It's a great fall beer.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that, 100%. It's one of those beers that's still full of flavor, but you don't get tired of it. There's
Right.
a lot of beers out there where I can have maybe two of them, and then I'm ready to move on to something different. I can definitely see myself playing a long night of darts and pool, and this is the only thing that I drink.
You just said darts. Could we possibly see this over at the corner pub at some point?
Oh, yeah, I want this.
If they want to buy some cans, we're happy to sell them.
Because last night I was out playing darts for a few hours, and the only thing they really had that was close to crafty by definition was Yingling. And after the third one, my mouth was like, I don't want this anymore, but there was no other options. This would have fit that need perfectly.
I agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
I just would have started with it, but I wouldn't have even started with the England, but yeah.
So what do you say we take a quick break? Get reset for segment 2. We get paid. Yeah, let's get paid this episode.
Okay, we'll try.
Yeah, what the hell? We'll get paid. And we'll be right back for segment 2.
Ice cream.
What is up, Hop Nation? This is Jason Sircone of BreakingBrews.com, also of the Over a Couple of Beers podcast that is soon to be coming out of retirement. You can catch up on old episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play Music, and follow OACOB podcast on social media. Looking forward to rapping with you guys on the podcast waves very soon. Today, I am here to talk to you about Pittsburgh Libations Week. That's right, the inaugural Pittsburgh Libations Week is coming your way starting Friday night, October 12th, and we are getting the party started in grand fashion with a kickoff bash taking place at Nova Place in the North Side. Nova Place was home to Fresh Fest, as well as the Pittsburgh Brewers Guild Brewery Guide launch. So we're looking forward to bringing another great event to that venue, and we are going to be showcasing all sorts of beer, spirits, meads, ciders, all types of fermented beverages will be on hand at this event. You do not want to miss it. So to get your tickets, all you need to do is jump over to universe.com/PLW Kickoff Bash. That's universe.com/PLW Kickoff Bash. You're going to get a good idea of everybody who is joining the party, who's going to be pouring samples for you guys, and you can grab your tickets to be part of the event that's starting it all. Once that event concludes, the rest of the week is going to be filled with all sorts of great events. We've got a golf scramble planned. We've got a whiskey dinner. We've got whiskey and beer symposiums on the schedule, an axe throwing tournament, and a lot of our great sponsors that are making Pittsburgh Libations Week possible have got some really cool events lined up. So check out the event calendar on our website at www.pittsburghlibationsweek.com. And you can also follow Pittsburgh Libations Week on social media. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for daily information and all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll be rapping with you guys leading up to and all the way through the inaugural Pittsburgh Libations Week. We can't wait for you guys to join us. Check out the kickoff bash page once again, universe.com/PLW kickoff bash. We look forward to partying with you guys October 12th through October 20th.
Welcome back to episode 79 of the Hop Nation USA podcast.
I'm sorry, I don't have a sports reference for number 79 quite yet. I'm
Okay.
still working on that one.
Okay, you keep working on it. We'll get back to it.
Segment 3, I'll get you something.
All right, good.
Yeah.
But we're
Expect
here.
better, Adam.
We expect
Me too.
more out of you. We're here live, though, at Spoonwood Brewery, and we're still sitting down with the head brewer, Steve Ilnicki, and we've got a second beer for us, and I'm going to turn it right over to him to introduce it.
Awesome. All right, so we have Cinnamon Ghoul, which is our pumpkin spice ale. And we try to keep it seasonal. We don't put it out in July. We actually just
thank
released
God.
it today. Here we are at the end of
Oh, this is
September.
a fresh release today.
This is a fresh release. This was tapped just today.
Nice. I like that.
It's a beautiful thing.
Doesn't get fresher
so
than that.
it's pretty standard. I mean, it looks like a pumpkin ale. It's the color that you would expect, I think. It's kind of an amberish, orangish hued amber color. It's got your typical cinnamon, nutmeg. We like to use ginger, and we put some vanilla in there. And then, of course, there's a moderate amount of pumpkin puree as well.
Is there a particular reason why you're using the ginger in the recipe, just to kind of give it a little bit of a pop? Or
Yeah, I think it kind of gives it a brightness.
okay,
Little kick of heat.
Yeah,
like
well,
snuck
not even
in
so
there.
much heat, but yeah, I think it's bright, it's juicy, it's almost a little bit fruity. I like ginger a lot. We don't put it in a ton of beers, but I always enjoy it when we do.
It's good for you.
I did not know that.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, ginger root's great for you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so this is a healthy beer.
Yeah, well, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a healthy beer.
Cinnamon's also good for you.
Man,
It's
we
a
are
pain in the ass to work with, though. I mean, so we get the ginger root, and we used a little more than 4 pounds of ginger root in
Oh,
this.
wow.
And it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have
Ginger's
to sit
powerful.
down and you have to peel it,
Yep.
and so what I do is I sit down and peel it a piece at a time, and then we run it through a juicer.
Oh, okay.
And I ended up with 40 some ounces of fresh ginger juice.
Oh,
Right on.
So it is potent.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about 40 ounces of ginger juice
yeah.
into 465 gallons of beer.
Okay.
cool.
Definitely.
And it
you're
comes
gonna be
through. I think
pick
the
up on
ginger
that.
actually comes through.
Yeah, it actually came through a little bit on the nose when I was smelling it. I was able to pick it out there. Now, how many years have you guys been making the Cinnamon Ghoul as your fall pumpkin beer?
I don't know if this is the second or third. Our first go at a pumpkin beer was called Pie Bandit, and we actually got a cease and desist on that one.
Oh, really?
We did. Yeah, it was really odd. We got a letter from an attorney
Touch that pie.
who represents. I can't even remember the name of it, but I want to say it may have been a winery
Oh,
okay.
that utilized that name, and I guess there's some legislation that says across the board for alcoholic beverages, even though theirs is a wine and ours is a beer, and to me there's a clear distinction.
Right.
Right. Yeah, you can't get them confused.
Not so much the case. So that wasn't a problem. We said, hey, we're happy to play along, and they had us remove all traces of that beer from the internet and social
wow.
media and whatnot. So.
scrub
There's
clean.
some Jason Bourne type stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but we came up with something that I like much more, Cinnamon Ghoul.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
So speaking of, I'm taking a look at the packaging on this one. Obviously, the beers that we have here are came from on the tap. But there is also a very interesting 32-ounce bottle sitting right here with the Cinnamon Ghoul branding on it. What's the story with this?
So this is a popular beer for us.
Okay.
And people definitely like to take it home. We try to get this beer to last for at least a month so that it pushes up right near Halloween.
Okay.
And so for the second year now, we've released it right at the end of September. So we hope to get about a month out of it. And so doing a half-size growler helps us
smart.
limit the portions a little bit.
Makes sense.
And then this year we also made it exclusive. So we have a sort of logoed 32-ounce growler, and it's the only way to take the beer to go.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's not canned. You can't get in a
We're not
64-ounce
canning it.
growler or anything like
No,
that.
right. So we won't fill any other growlers. We did sell some of these last year, but it wasn't exclusive. So if somebody has one from last year, they can bring it back and we'll fill it up. And then
Okay.
we've got a certain amount that we have where you can buy them this year and
Right on.
refill them as many times as you like.
Very cool.
Hey, did you guys change the recipe at all since you started making cinnamon Ghoul, or has it been pretty consistent?
The malt and grain recipe is the same. Hops as well. It's not a hoppy beer. I mean, there's a minimal amount of hops in here. We tweaked the spicing a little bit
Okay.
this year.
Well, I've been tasting as
I
you
know,
guys have been asking questions.
Genius, Steve. Kind of jelly over here.
Well, stop asking questions.
I know.
Well, I mean, it is a podcast.
I know. Well, hey.
Curious character.
But I'll tell you right up front, I get that brightness from the ginger. That's a really
Yeah.
yeah. It's there. It's not like spicy like ginger. Sometimes you would think it would be if you ever eaten it like with sushi or anything.
Right.
But it's like definitely really bright.
And it has a very, I would say, a very light mouthfeel to it. It doesn't have that kind of heaviness that a lot of other pumpkin beers have.
Yeah, it's not like candy slurry.
Right.
Yeah, and
right.
it's lower alcohol too. It's I think it's 5.3.
Okay.
So it's not like I chose this beer for this round here for us to taste on purpose because I think pumpkin beer is definitely amongst brewers anyway, and they sort of have a bad rap. And you can easily find many brewers who will say, "I fucking hate making."
They do it because that's what the people want.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so that's definitely part of the reason why we do it. I actually like drinking them. I don't like to drink them all year long,
Right.
and I don't even like to drink them all month long, really.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of some of the classics. There's a certain pumpkin beer that built a nearby brewery.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Right? So
The house the king built.
that's right, and that's a great. I love that beer. So we have fun making this. People have fun drinking it. I don't see any reason not to do it.
Yeah.
It just goes right along with the season. It's like when you get into stout season.
Right.
You know, you get into those big, heavy stouts and things like that. You're not going to be drinking them in June and July. But when December and
not.
January rolls around, stout season. And this is,
For sure.
you know, this is this beer season right now. It's this beer's time to shine. It
Yeah.
certainly is.
I'm now in the mood. I'm willing to drink pumpkin beers. I had my first one like a week ago.
Ooh.
So now I'm good. I'm good to drink them now. So
Right.
I always try to put it off though till like the last 2 weeks or so of September. Being that they come out and I've seen it
mid-August,
Yeah,
late
it was
August.
crazy.
Yeah. To me, when I start to wear blue jeans on purpose rather than shorts out in public, that's when it's time.
Yeah, it signifies it's pumpkin.
Right,
Sure.
exactly.
The weather changed.
flannel
just
does,
stepping
too.
in is like perfect. Yeah,
We have our flannels on. That's
Right,
how we know it's okay.
proper attire.
And I don't think it's limited to just the beer industry. I saw something on social media where this girl got a pumpkin spice latte. It was like in the middle of the summer, and she was instantly labeled basic because that's a basic move.
Well, yes.
It is, yeah. Stone cold fact.
And maybe she was. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the pumpkin spice thing definitely is out of hand.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
But as far as pumpkin beer goes, there's a time and a place.
Absolutely. And I think you guys did a phenomenal job. Just like the black lager, this is a pumpkin beer I can get behind. It's not overly spiced. It's so well balanced, so light, juicy, and bright. This is another one I wouldn't mind having on tap close to where I live.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Based upon our earlier conversation, that will not be feasible.
You can take some home.
That's right. 32 ounces at a time.
But yeah, I'm about it, and
Yeah.
I think it's different from a lot of the other offerings you get out there in the market. I mean, you know, pumpkin is a little heavier. Warlock is obviously heavier.
Well, right.
This one is, you know, it's bright. It's easy. It's sessionable. It's, you know, another fall kind of campfire drinker,
Right.
if you really want to.
But I think this leans more towards the early part of fall rather than the late part of fall.
Yeah,
You know,
or it may snow.
right.
It's a perfect assessment because it's super pumpkin related smells on the nose, but as soon as you get in there, you get some of the taste, but it's like, hey, I'm not here to make
Right.
you hate your life.
Right. We're not sticking around to make sure that everything is dying on the trees.
There's no cinnamon rim needed. No additives.
Right. So, Steve, you had mentioned earlier that a lot of brewers don't like this type of beer in terms of the brewing process and things like that. Is there any particular beer that you don't like to brew for any particular reason, or one that you do enjoy to brew in terms of the process itself? Is there anything that stands out to you one way or another?
That's a great question, I think. I mean, there's nothing that really is standing out to me as a beer that I don't like to brew because of the process. Maybe if you're talking about a mash that is really thick and viscous and doesn't want to run off. You know, you guys, I know that you're home brewers. If you do, if you're all grain brewing,
Yep.
and you're trying to get a mash to run, and you've got a lot of you know, like maybe a high percentage of wheat, definitely a lot of rye. Actually, we made in previous versions of a pumpkin beer, we were putting pumpkin into the mash, and we had some trouble with that, with the lautering, with, you know, separating the liquid from the mash. So beers like that, I mean, just the process of it can be frustrating if you're talking about a 6-hour-long runoff as opposed to one that might be, you know, an hour.
Right. It just doesn't want to play along.
Other than that, I mean, there isn't anything that I really don't like to do. I personally am not a fan of sour beers.
Oh, neither am I. Anything that makes your face go, I'm not a
So
fan.
we haven't been doing, we've done a couple, but James, who I brew with, is. So we definitely will. We definitely will do more of those.
So in that same vein, we have to ask this. We have to ask about horror stories in the brewery. Just a bad day where nothing went right or anything like that. Is there any horror stories from out of the brewery that you have? Just everything went wrong, anything like that?
I can't think of anything where the entire day was just terrible, but you definitely go through each week knowing that something's going to happen, and it might not be this week, it might not even be the next week, and then you might get lulled into a false sense of you know, a month goes by and you're good, and then something will happen. I mean, we've had days where we came in to start the brew, and we've got our milled grain right up there in that grist case, and you start the water running, you get it to the right temperature, you open up the grist case, and nothing comes out. and then so we've actually had some pretty harrowing experiences with that particular part of the brew, with grain not going where it was supposed to go when it finally did start flowing.
Right.
A week or two ago, we were getting ready to whirlpool on the kettle the day before I had worked on a pump, and I guess I didn't have the clamp put back on all the way.
Oh, no.
Or maybe I thought it was on, and then just vibrations of the brew process up to that point had loosened it enough that when we hit go on the pump to start the whirlpool, beer just started shooting out of the kettle. And it's, I mean, so you grab it, you kill the pump, you close the valve, and you're good. But when you get beer all over the place, or where you get wort all over the place, it's just like, man, I wasn't planning on having to clean that up.
Yeah.
You know?
That was not on the schedule.
Wasn't on the schedule for today.
So going back to the question Adam asked really about, you know, beers you don't like brewing, is there any beers that you look forward to brewing, or anything that you have like kind of bouncing around in your mind that you haven't been able to get out yet?
There's nothing like that. So I keep a little notebook, and I say, hey, here's something that I'd like to do. And those beers are always fun. A lot of times they involve some kind of like weird adjunct. I like chocolate in beers.
Oh, yeah.
We've only ever once done a peanut butter beer. I know that a lot of people are probably like, whatever, but so we've got something planned for later in the fall or early winter where we're going to do like a cookie-based beer with the peanut butter and chocolate. You know what I mean? Like the peanut butter blossom.
Yeah.
So we've got that coming out.
Well, you'll see me here when that comes out, just so you know.
I mean, that's certainly not like a bucket list type brew, but that's just one of those things where you're like, what can I do that's going to be interesting for that time of year? Oh, I'll try that. I'm a hophead. I love hoppy beers. So the beer that we brew most often here is our mainstay IPA, Killer Diller. And as often as we brew it, it's one of the beers that I probably enjoy brewing the most. Fortunately, we brew it often.
Right on.
I mean, I know a lot of people like it. Sam's not here, but he does like it.
Well, I know we were talking earlier, Steve, about different smoked beers. I know you guys have your Smoke and Oats. That's a staple that's always on. And you guys did recently the smoked cherry stout. Was there something else, in that said notebook that you might try to bring out later on in the year with anything smoky? This is a selfish question.
I'm glad you brought that up because that actually is one of my favorite beers, and it's funny. I tend to forget about it. It's always there. It's one of the 4 beers that we always have on tap, and it's a love-hate beer. I mean, we have people who come here just to drink that beer, and then we have other people who, I don't like bacon, I don't like ham. Why is it in my beer?
Right.
And it's not, but I mean, it has those types of. That's what you get from the smoked malt. I always tell people that my desert island beer, one of my desert island beers, would be a smoked beer, like
absolutely
from the classics from Bamberg, Germany, the Schlenkerla, any of their beers. Give me that anytime.
Right, because I know you guys always have that Smoke and Oats on tap. It's a staple here. But one thing I just wanted to point out, it's not common throughout the rest of around here. So I definitely want to go out of my way to get some more smoked beers.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I don't know why, but I mean, they're not totally common at all.
Right.
But like Steve was saying, there's that one German brewery, and I can't ever pronounce it because it's really long. But they do just like a line of smoked beers.
All right.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's the Marzen that's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's just.
Is it Beck's?
No, it's not.
No,
Beck's.
it's,
Thanks.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's either Schlenkerla or Schlenkerla.
Yeah.
And it's from Bamberg, which is a region that's known for those types of beers. And I agree with you. Pretty much anything that they put out is one of my favorite beers. But the Marzen in particular.
So that
really
distros
awesome.
Anywhere around here, or
I don't know, but you can
how
find
do you
it.
get that?
I used to find it at Market District, but I don't see it too often.
Yeah, you can find it there sometimes. I mentioned I live near D's 6-pack.
They so you see it there.
That,
Man, I gotta step my game up because I'm always shopping out for other people's tastes, but that's one of my favorite tastes. Smoked
the thing
beers.
that's cool about their beers, you're gonna want to question the freshness of a beer that's maybe a little more obscure and one that was imported like that from that distance, and you're not sure really how fresh it might be.
But if it's a darker beer, that's okay.
The
then,
smoke in particular, it really has a powerful preservative effect.
Okay,
So.
true. So if it's a smoked porter or a smoked stout, typically that's fine if it's aged.
They will tend to hold up. Yeah.
Okay. Now, whenever you guys are brewing different smoked beers here, is it typically just the smoked malts they're adding, or what else adds that?
That's
taste?
it. It's just the smoked malts.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the Smoke and Oats, when we first started brewing it was strictly Beechwood smoked malt, which is typical to the type of beers that you were talking about from Bamberg. And then we, just by mistake, I think one time we put in a grain order and we couldn't get the Beechwood, so we went with a Cherrywood, and I really, really liked the character of it. We did a couple of batches with straight Cherrywood, and then I decided to blend the two, the Beechwood and the Cherrywood smoked malt, and that's where we are right now.
All right.
Smoke notes. It's a nice blend.
All right, taking some notes from my next brew day.
Your own brew aspirations. But I've been drinking this smoked cherry on the side while we've been doing the episode. Oh, it's killer. Like, that's just side review.
Right.
Come get that as well.
That's bonus content. Get
Just
that
in
on
my head,
Patreon.
I'm already thinking of a black and tan between the cinnamon ghoul and the smoked cherry.
I've been looking at it too because I have just enough.
You were basically
both left.
doing it.
I'm looking at it.
That'd be a good black and tan.
Yeah.
Don't just talk about it. Make it happen.
I will. I'll come back to it at the end of the episode. At the end of the segment.
There a mess everywhere? Adam told me just to do it.
Something else I wanted to touch on about Spoonwood though is I've noticed it a bit, and it's in the naming conventions of some of your beers. A lot of your beers have a lot of music theme to them. I know Coheed and Cambria comes into a lot of your titles. You have one that's on tap that's a Judas Priest reference. Is what's behind that? Is like, I know James, your assistant brewer, he's a big music fan, obviously.
Yeah, we both are. I mean, James loves heavy music. I do as well. Neither of us exclusively listen to that kind of music. Music's a big part of my life, and so it was kind of a natural place to go for inspiration, for names. I don't love to just completely rip song title, verbatim for a beer name.
Right.
I do like to maybe take a look at lyrics, maybe pull a lyric or
That's
something
better,
like
in my
that.
opinion.
To be honest, for me, I would prefer it if it was something that wasn't readily obvious to the majority of people. That way I end up with something that has some kind of connection or meaning for me, and hopefully has a catchy or interesting name for the beer. And then, of course, it's going to be inevitable that we'll find people who do relate to it.
Right.
And then it's kind of cool. Yeah, the Judas Priest one you mentioned.
Yeah, the Hellbent for Pleather.
Hellbent for Pleather. So it's stupid, right? And we were... James and I were having a few beers, and I don't even know how it came up, but we had a laugh over that one. We're like, yeah, we definitely need to use that, and that's James's recipe. And I said, why don't you go for it? Let's just call it that.
That's awesome.
And then the Coheed thing, that kind of, I did the Good Eye Sniper beer, and to me it was just like kicks for me. And then it turned into something where other people related to it. It was like, wow, there's really that many people who share my interest in that music and this type of beer.
So you built a community around it.
I did, and it actually it's gotten to the point where I think I'm ready to maybe close the book on that one, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, it's kind of it went in a direction that I didn't really intend it to. I didn't want to be like a Coheed and Cambria brewery by any means.
Right.
We've done a few beers with names inspired by them, but like I said, maybe it's run its course. I don't know.
Fair enough. You mentioned some of them, though, are more kind of like close to the vest and just a reference that you would get. You want to share one that maybe people wouldn't have grabbed onto?
God, I can't think of anything offhand. So I did this. I'm a huge fan of The Simpsons, or at least The Simpsons for the first. How many seasons are they on now? Like 25
Something
or
like
something?
that. Yeah.
So, like The Simpsons, the first 10 to 12 years, I was fanatical about. And just the way that my mind works, I often will like relate to daily happenings with like quotes or like things that I recalled from watching those episodes so many times. We did. So one beer that ended up being a one-off, we never brewed it again, was an obscure reference. There was an amusement park on an episode called Praiseland. It was like a inspired. So we had a Praiseland Pale Ale. So that one was more or less obscure. And then we did a coffee stout called Imminent Percolations.
Okay.
And again, pretty obscure. It was a Mr. Burns quote.
Oh, all right.
And yeah, so Google that one. It's actually pretty funny. But again, something that so that's an example of where we were able to take not a lyric but a quote.
That's cool.
Get a name for a beer that has some meaning to me and may or may not be.
So it's not one of those like some breweries you see them, social media that it's a blatant. They changed one like letter off of the name of a show or something.
Right.
You guys actually put a lot of thought into it and took it like at least 35 steps further. So that's
not
really
always.
Cool.
One of our staple beers is Working Class Hero. I'm a fan of John Lennon and the Beatles, and that was one of the beers that we launched with, and it was just like a straight up homage to somebody that I've always really admired.
That's cool.
So you'll notice that Steve and I are not talking right now. The reason behind that is Steve finally decided to combine the two.
I got down low enough in my taster glasses. And
I got to tell you,
Dennis is making
That's good.
I got to tell you.
That's good. Do you guys typically do any black and tans or anything where you mix?
If you ask nicely.
Yeah, it's funny. So we have, it just so happens, and it happened last year, and we've got the two on tap this year. We have our Imperial Stout, which is called Dead Goon, and then we've got this pumpkin beer Cinnamon Ghoul, and we started doing black and tans with that last year.
Oh my God.
Nice.
So you've got this Cinnamon Goon.
Ooh.
And people really like it. I actually had somebody come to me today and say, hey, can we take a whole growler of this blend? And I thought, whatever.
Is it like an Easter egg type deal? Like if you know about it, ask for it?
I think we did it like through social media last year.
Okay.
I didn't mention anything yet this year.
Oh, that's cool.
But at least one person remembered and he asked for it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really good combination.
McDonald's secret menu stuff.
Yeah, I was like, Easter egg? Did we just find one?
Well, also maybe try out this smoked cherry in the Cinnamon Ghoul if you get a chance, because that was good.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
That works really well because that's smoky and bright.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
The ginger still sneaks out, which is crazy.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah. Check plus. Check plus.
So just going back a little bit to the music, upcoming is Brutal Beer Fest on the October 20th. You guys usually obviously have something to do with it because James is,
It's James's project.
yeah, it's one of James's babies. So
Right.
do you have any exclusive info as to what beer you might be presenting?
Yeah, I think James put something out there today, so I don't think it's a secret.
okay.
We are fortunate enough to collaborate with a band called Through the Eyes of the Dead, and we sort of let them take the driver's seat. We're going to brew the beer tomorrow, so it's not in the tank yet. But we went to them and said, "What do you like to drink?" It turns out that they are apparently craft beer guys, which is cool.
right on.
That's always helpful.
Makes it that much
for sure. They
easier.
can articulate exactly what they want.
They did for the most part. They said, "Hey, we want to do a hazy IPA with mango."
All right.
And so we were like, "Yeah, exactly, yeah, absolutely, right on." And then it was, "Well, what are we going to call it?" And that's where it becomes a little bit like, you want to leave it open, but at the same time, you know that you have to run a business here and
Right.
Because you're going to put it on
keep
tap.
certain
here,
parameters.
too.
We will, yeah. So no, they came to us and I think they have an upcoming, I think they're working on a new track that's called Annihilation of Expectation. That's what they want to call it. And I said, absolutely, that's a
Hell
really
yeah.
cool name.
That's badass.
Wow.
That is a good name.
Annihilation of expectation.
I think that kind of works too, because usually when you think heavy metal bands and you think dark and you think black, but if they're making a mango IPA,
Right.
that's not the expectation.
Right, that's smart. I
So
like
yeah,
it.
that works.
Little double meaning there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know Black Dahlia Murder just put out their own metal beer this week with Weyerbacher.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's like I think it's a rye IPA, but it's also really like 5%, so it's like drinkable.
Oh, very nice.
So it's not, it's not like killer.
I think Weyerbacher is also doing a collaboration with the headliner.
Oh yeah, with Dying Fetus.
Fetus,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And they were it was like the winners by default. Nothing against the band, but it's a pretty brutal name, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's intense. If you're running for president, don't
Don't run on the
as
platform
like
of
a
Dying
face
Fetus.
tattoo.
You're gonna have to exactly. You're gonna want to get that lasered, yeah. Right. So yeah, they were the ones
gonna
that
know your
they're the ones that
certain
stepped up
situations.
and said, yeah, we're gonna brew a beer with these guys.
Fair enough. Yeah, we were talking to Meg when she was on a couple episodes ago, and she was like, "We're not sure who's going to brew with Dying Fetus. I mean, not everybody wants to attach their name to that."
Right.
So.
Yeah. So I'm friends with one of the places that I won't say who it is, but they signed on originally, and then there was something within the family dynamics of the ownership group.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
this might not be the right fit.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn it, Billy, you're not ready to take over the company. You're making decisions like this.
Very cool. But I mean, yeah, October 20th, we can definitely look forward to more from Spoonwood and
Yeah, we'll see you
all
there.
the other breweries. Yeah.
You guys
all
will
the other
definitely
breweries.
see me there.
Yeah.
Hold down a booth with
Well, that's where we met you. So
Yeah, that's true. What was that last year to that day?
that was last year's
Steve
Brutal.
came wandering over and said, "What's these beer jellies?" Started trying them. Was like, "These are great."
I'm drunk and hungry. What's up?
You guys met at Brutal?
Yeah, last
yeah.
year. That was cool. Would
Yeah,
you like to be
it's-
on a
it's my
podcast?
I think it's the best local beer fest.
It is,
I think so.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anybody that
Absolutely.
doesn't have a ticket yet needs to get on that because they do still have some
The
available.
community, the feel, like everyone there is there for each other and make sure everyone's having a good time. I personally have never seen something like that
Yeah.
before, so
Right on.
it made me really realize that, Mike, I'm in the right industry for sure.
Right. Yeah, Fresh Fest was good, and like
Fresh Fest was good. I
maybe
enjoy that too.
like they can get up there.
Yeah.
Next year. But like Brutal is still like
It is.
light years ahead of every other festival we have right
Absolutely.
They are the standard.
now. Yeah.
So what do you say we kick back to the cinnamon ghoul we got here, the early fall beer, as I like to say.
I think everybody's kicked.
yeah, it's all been drank.
all drank.
That says it all right there.
It's gone.
Once again, another easy review. It's
Yeah.
a good beer, and I drink it again.
Yeah, it's a great, easy drinking. Like again, it's not heavy on the ABV, and it has that brightness to it that makes you want to keep coming back to it.
Right.
Yeah,
I
great beer.
definitely agree 100%. So you get that really cinnamon. It's true to its name, cinnamon Ghoul. You get that good cinnamon on the nose, but as you drink it, you get the ginger comes out in the brightness. It's a refreshing beer. It's not too pumpkin-y where you're questioning if you're basic or not. It's like Adam and Steve said, it's really good.
Don't judge me for my Uggs.
You got the boots with the fur.
Okay, what do you say we take a quick break?
Come back, segment 3.
Segment 3.
Okay.
Where it's time to put all your knowledge to the test. We'll be back, Hop Nation.
Hey, Slackers, I'm Matt.
And I'm Jesse.
We host American Slacker, the show that keeps you updated on all of the weirdest news around the globe, along with what's going on in the world of Xbox, music and movie suggestions, and fun interactive games.
Every other week, we bring on interesting guests from all walks of life, from filmmakers to musicians, funeral directors to small business owners, and even Jeff Goldblum.
What? No, we never got Goldblum, man.
Oh, a man can dream, can't he?
American Slacker Podcast. New episodes every Wednesday.
Available on Spotify, iTunes, and all of your smart devices, or anywhere else, you might happen to cop a podcast.
They're downloading MP3s, not buying an eighth. I'm shutting this shit down. That's it.
There you go.
All right, Hop Nation, we're back with segment 3 of episode 79 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. Adam, what is our sports reference?
Hell, I don't know.
You didn't think too hard, did you?
You know what? Let's go with We Are Family.
Sure.
79 Pirates.
Drink to that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a little Willie
right.
Stargell.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Saved by the Pops.
You did your best. You got there.
Which isn't very good, but here we are.
And, of course, we have a third beer because we're here at Spoonwood Brewery. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to turn it over to Steve one last time to introduce this third beer.
So this one is called Freemang. We brew it once a year, and it's a hazy, juicy IPA. We use special yeast, which really plays up the fruitiness that we're getting otherwise from the hops. I think it finishes on the dry side despite its having like a really juicy quality. It's one of my favorite beers.
Right on. Just out of curiosity, what is the ABV on this one?
This one is 6.1. We brewed it a little bit lighter this year than we have in the past. I think we've done versions that were up around 7, just over 7, or high 6s. This year we went a little bit lower.
And can you tell us, is it a single hop or is there multiple hops?
It actually is.
Okay.
Yeah, since you asked, yeah, it is. This one happens to be all Citra.
Okay.
Oh,
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right on.
Do any dry hopping or just all in the boil?
No, it's actually. I think the character comes primarily from the dry hopping.
Okay.
On the hot side, in the boil, the hopping is really minimal. We put in, when we reach boil, we're putting in just a sprinkling of hops. Just to, and what you
Just
do
to
there
bitter
is,
it a little bit.
and not even for the bitterness, really, we wouldn't put any in if we didn't have to from a practical standpoint. You put the hops in, it gives a nucleation site for the boil, and what it does is it helps. At least you would hope it helps keep the kettle from boiling over.
Okay.
So that's the only reason behind it.
For this style of beer, where you're looking
that's
for
cool.
hops flavor and aroma without bitterness, the less hops that you can put in earlier in the boil, the
less
better.
bitter.
Yeah, so the way that we hop this one, like I said, just a sprinkling when we reach boil, and then after we kill the heat on the kettle, and we start whirlpool, that's when we put in a bigger dose of hops, not a huge one, nothing crazy, but then most of the hops go into the fermenter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Just looking at it, though, it's lighter than orange juice, but it is completely opaque like orange juice.
Right.
Yeah.
Based upon the explanation, there should be a ton on the nose when we get in close to
Yes.
this guy.
There totally is.
And there is.
There
So
is.
Science works.
Yeah.
You're getting good at this whole thing.
By my reasons of deduction.
But yeah, it's juicy, it's fruity.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
It definitely has that termination too of like a drier IPA that it just kind of cuts off on the flavor, but it has that juiciness.
Just kind of goes away.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Right, in a good way, and it doesn't dry your palate out.
Right.
It's definitely a good beer to have after the first couple that we did. It really cuts through where you think your palate's already had a lot going on. That slices through anything.
Absolutely, and it could also just act as a step to your next beer as well.
Right.
Yes.
Because this will clean your palate off pretty well.
Sure.
Yep.
Damn,
I'm into it.
Stop drinking it.
I'm into this. I like it. So, Adam, do you have a game for us?
I do have a game for you. We are playing a very simple quiz. It will be 1 versus 1 versus 1.
Okay.
What we're going to do, we're just going to go right around the table. Don't worry, Dennis, you get to play too.
No, I thought that sounds like the Steelers standing there for a second.
1, 1, and 1?
That's my sport reference.
That was a good one, too.
Thank you.
Well executed.
Sports ball all around.
Yes. Obviously, in the first segment, we were talking about the Turtle Waste of Time, the beer whose benefits turtles, a worthy cause, obviously. So we're going to talk a little bit about charity work that breweries do around the nation. So this quiz is based around that. Dennis, since you are the guest host, I am going to give you the option. Do you want to go second or third? Because Steve is going first.
Brewer Steve.
Brewer Steve, not regular Steve. I don't care about him.
You see how this is confusing?
Yes, I do.
I'll go third.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So, Brewer Steve, your first question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. Okay. This brewery, famous for its Moose Drool Brown Ale, has partnered up with its local church to produce the All Souls Ale, benefiting the church's charity foundation. Is it the Crested Butte Brewing Company, Big Sky Brewing Company, Deschutes Brewing Company, or Mountain View Brewing Company?
Well, I didn't even need the multiple choice. I know it's Big Sky.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Is that out of Montana?
A good person.
Yes, it is.
When you know charity.
Yeah.
Big Sky Country. Just
Yeah, and the Moose Drool. Moose Drool is a really good beer as well. Out on the west coast, west side.
That's why I know. Yeah. I'm not a good person. I know beer, not charity. I knew that Moose Drool was Big Sky.
I've known you for a little bit now.
Yeah.
You're a good person.
all you got to know is one or the other.
Yep. Yeah. We don't judge on how you get the answer. Just that you get the answer.
So this is about charities. Immediately when you brought this up, I was like, we're going to figure out who's a good person or not. And I'm terrible.
So regular Steve, it is now your task.
Neat.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. The Barroom Hero Pub Ale is a collaboration between Magic Hat Brewing
And the Dropkick Murphys.
All right then, never mind.
Wow.
Okay. You know what? Screw you. I'm giving you a bonus question.
Okay.
The foundation is created by the band's frontman. What is the name of the frontman's foundation?
Of his foundation?
Yeah. Screw you. That wasn't the original question, but I'm changing it on the fly. I'm going to make you lose.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't get the bonus question. I don't know.
So the answer is the Clodagh Fund.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Wait a second. I thought these were all multiple choice.
They are, but he
Yeah.
See, Steve, you got to play dumb a little bit better.
I
got that way too quick.
I knew he was going to ask if it was the Dropkick Murphys.
And it was.
And it was. And I got
okay.
it.
So, Dennis, are you ready?
I was born ready.
I like it. Let's make this happen. So, your question is, according to the Brewers Association, in 2016, craft brewers donated how much money to charity? Was it A, $15 million, B, $26.8 million, C, $44.6 million, or D, $73.4 million?
C.
You locking that in?
Locking it in.
You are wrong.
I knew it.
You are wrong.
B?
It is actually D, $73.4 million.
Would you have guessed
Good for
that?
craft brewers.
Yeah,
Brewer
exactly.
I would have gone with C because isn't that
that's what
the
I did.
answer that you're always supposed to go with C, right?
Right.
That's true.
Except in this case.
Well, it just sounded like an astronomical amount of money. I know small breweries, like it takes everything that they have just to keep going and thinking of the future. I didn't know they had that much to give.
Right.
It just shows you that as humans, there's always more to give.
And just so you know, that is up from $71 million that was donated in 2015. So
Shows you people that drink a lot of beer are good people.
it's true. I mean, we're here. We're good people. We drink beer. Brewer Steve, are you ready for your second question?
ready.
Okay, your second question. Dave and Quinn Rathkamp started what brewery in 2012 in Marble Falls, Texas, with the goal to donate 100% of profits to charity? Is it the Save the World Brewing Company, the Today Me, Tomorrow You Ale Company, the Holer Roller Brewing Company, or Shiner?
You said Shiner.
I did.
It's not Shiner.
Or Shiner.
So, can eliminate. God, I don't know the answer. The second one.
You're going with Today Me, Tomorrow You?
Yes.
You are wrong. It is actually Shiner. No. No, it is actually the Save the World Brewing Company.
Excellent.
It's the other Texas Shiner, the one that's spelt with a Y.
Low budget.
So the story behind that is actually Dave Rathkamp was actually part of a Bible study group, and the conversation came up about how to use your talents to help out your fellow man. And Dave was a home brewer, and he was pretty good at it. So him and his wife decided that they were going to start a brewery, at which point all profits would go to charity.
So how they stay in business?
They have
Donations probably from other people.
Well, not only that, but they take care of their business expenses first.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then
All right, so all
the
that's still
profits-
paid for and everything.
Yeah.
Right. So just a little hat tip to the brew studs on that one. I got that information from their website. So a little hat tip to them.
I got some good stuff on there.
They do. So, regular Steve.
Yes.
Are you ready for your second
It's
question?
so
Could be.
demeaning.
He came
Regular
up with
Steve,
it.
not special in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. I'm going to give you the opportunity to switch things up a little bit.
I don't want to.
You want to go 5? You want to go 6? You want to go 7?
Let's go 7.
7. Okay.
Oh no, the laughs, when Adam laughs, it's never good for you.
So, Budweiser donated how many cans of fresh water to the American Red Cross to help with the efforts of Hurricane Florence this past September? Was it 75,000 cans, 150,000 cans, 300,000 cans, or 500,000 cans?
300,000.
You are absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Wow, that was so quick. I was
Actually
actually when
read
you
that.
said water, did you mean their actual beer?
You know.
But no, they actually have a separate can design where it's a white can that just
It's
is
just
labeled
plain,
as
yeah.
water.
Like if you ever
Is it
watched
still made out of, I don't know, the aluminum or whatever cans are made
Yeah,
out
it's,
of?
it's still their cans. It's just, have you ever seen the show Lost?
Yes.
And you remember how plain all of the stuff on the island, the Dharma Initiative, all their products were? It looks like that.
Huh.
Right.
Yeah. And it just says
He
water.
said 300,000 cans.
Yeah.
It's admirable.
Just to bring a little bit of a different scale to this, that 300,000 cans equates to about 6 trucks.
6
So,
trucks.
About 6 trucks. So, I mean, yeah, that's still a lot of water.
Yeah.
But it's 6 trucks.
Yeah. It's 6 trucks of water.
So, not to be outdone, Miller Coors has also donated. I believe they are up around 200,000 cans themselves. So it's all the big macros. Yes, we know they're all evil, they're all terrible, but they're really not. In that regard, they are able and willing to donate mass amounts of water for that. There are local craft breweries that were affected by Florence that also helped out. There was a craft brewer in Charlotte that filled up all of their tanks with clean water, and once everything blew through, they said, if you need water, come to the brewery. We'll give you fresh water.
Oh, that's
out
cool.
of the tank.
That's awesome.
So, Dennis, are you ready?
Let's do this.
I will give you the option of number 5 or number 6.
5.
Okay, here's your softball. This annual event, now over a decade old and one of Pittsburgh's oldest, is a homebrew event that raises money in the fight against cystic fibrosis. Is it the Big Pour, Brewing Up a Cure, the Winter Warmer, or the All-Star Beer Festival?
Brewing Up a Cure.
Boom. Knocked
Dennis
it out
got
of
a
the
point.
park.
Dennis got a point.
Dennis got a point. Very
Did
nice.
it. I was like, I could do this one.
You did. And honestly, that's one of my favorite events of the year. I enjoy it greatly.
Fortunately, we weren't able to make it
Right.
because they switched up the date on us.
They did.
You guys showed up, there was nothing there.
Well, they pushed it forward to end of September instead of usually it's in October. Yeah.
So, I got one more question. This one's for all the peanuts.
Okay.
This is a free-for-all question. First person to answer.
So, like, how do we tapping in? Or?
Sure.
All right, cool.
I mean, I'm ahead right now with 2 points. You could just give it to Brewer
Okay.
Steve and see,
Out there, I don't.
He says for
I
all,
don't
he
need any
says for
charity
all the
myself.
peanuts.
Yeah,
That means
all right.
multiple points.
I'll tell you what. We'll have a flannel off. Because Steve is not wearing flannel. Regular Steve is not wearing flannel. Okay, so this is the flannel off. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. This local brewery's yearly charity event transports a keg of beer via bicycle through Pittsburgh before being tapped at the end of the ride. Dennis.
East End?
champion right there.
At first, I was like New Belgium, but then you said local, and I was
correct.
like, common
that is correct.
denominator, at least then.
So well done. I believe everybody's a winner.
Yes, everybody's a winner today.
Yes. So help with people.
I'm a winner because I have got this beer, the Freemang.
That beer is so tasty.
I could notice because Dennis, you have hammered through that thing.
It's all gone. It was just
Dennis
so
crushes.
good.
But we got to talk about this beer for just a quick second. Good beer. We'll drink it again.
So you actually liked it?
I do.
It's an IPA, and you actually liked it.
The reason I like it is because it doesn't stick around.
Yeah.
Like a lot of other IPAs have that hop residue, and they just have that
those IBUs hanging out in your mouth.
Stupid hoppy aftertaste. That now, Steve, I understand you're an IPA guy. You're a hophead, and I get that. I, however, am not. And I absolutely abhor beers that stick around with that hop aftertaste, like you've just been chewing on a hot pellet for way too long.
Do you not like the bitterness of it?
It is the bitterness, right?
Okay.
Right. And so these hazy IPAs, these tropical kind of IPAs are, I can't say they're a saving grace, but I can appreciate them a lot more than a punch you in your mouth IPA where you've got, they're just shoving a hot pellet right in your face. I don't know. I'm not a fan of those. These ones I can appreciate a lot more.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, that was a thing once upon a time. I mean, not too long ago. Where it was like the IBU arms race.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
The space race for IBUs.
I still enjoy a 6-point resin, so this is obviously right.
Yeah.
This
I
is
still like over the top hops, but it has to be well placed. Like I have to be, if I'm drinking that's either all I'm drinking or that's the end of the night.
right. Yeah. Usually, if you're getting something that's a palate wrecker, including the green flash palate wrecker, that usually kind of ends your drinking, through night. Yeah, you can drink only that. But this one isn't like that.
No.
You can, like I said at the beginning of the segment, this is almost like a palate cleanser. Like if you've been drinking something dark or something heavy or something smoky, you can you can switch it up with this and then continue on with something else.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorbet course, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, they have that good menu, so he learns the things.
That's right.
Learns all the things.
So I feel that it is time.
Time for the podium?
We gotta rank them.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dennis, I am going to make you go first. What was your bronze? What was your silver? What was your gold? Unless you don't want to go, then I'll go.
Don't let me go first. I gotta think.
All right, I'll go first. In the bronze medal position, and this is something that I have said a lot, but I'm going to say it again. These are all good beers. I don't think there's a bad beer in the bunch. So, for a beer to be in the bronze medal position is not a detriment, unlike past episodes where there are bad beers.
There's Canadian beers.
Yeah, we'll point them out when they're bad.
Right. But these
they're not bad tonight.
These are not bad beers by any stretch of the imagination. And so essentially what it comes down to is my personal taste of style. So with that one that we just had is coming in the bronze medal position, this hazy IPA. I can appreciate what it is, but it is not the first one that I would have grabbed off the menu. And then again, that just goes back to my personal taste. In the silver medal position, I'm going to put that cinnamon ghoul. And that's in a fairly tight race. But I like that beer. It was a lot brighter, as you said, Steve. It was a lot more drinkable. I don't think there's a lot of those fall beers that address the early part of fall. And this one does that swimmingly. It does it really well. A lot of the pumpkin beers and a lot of the Oktoberfest, a lot of those beers can get a bit heavy. This one stayed light, and I like that about this beer. It addresses that when the leaves just start to change, and it addresses that time of year, and it does it fantastically. However, in the gold medal position, I think you know which one I'm gonna have to go with because it's the only one left. The Turtle Waste of Time, the black lager. I like that one. That was a really easy drinker. Dennis said it just fantastically. That's the kind of beer that you can grab. You can drink 4 or 5 of while you're playing pool, playing darts. And I find it to be a very utilitarian beer, and I don't mean that as an insult. It's the kind of beer that you can take pretty much everywhere. You can take it to the highest of highs, you can take it to the lowest of lows. It's just a really good beer. And it's in cans, so you can literally take it anywhere.
Yeah. Transportable.
Yep. That's all I got.
Dennis, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I'll go ahead and go. Regular Steve. I don't want to speak. And I would actually be quite similar to Adam for sure. So my bronze category will be the Freemang. It was super delicious, really palate cleansing, really tasty. But compared to the other ones, they just swayed me a little bit more. Like Adam said, it's just your personal preference, because there was no bad beer here tonight for sure. So the second place would definitely go to the Cinnamon Ghoul at Silver. It definitely addresses a lot of issues I have with a lot of pumpkin beers out there in the industry. It's very, very cinnamony up front on the nose, so you know that it's early fall. It smells really, really good, but it doesn't wreck your palate and leave that you just ate a can of pumpkin puree sitting in your mouth. So it's really good, really refreshing. But my favorite, absolutely hands down, was a total waste of time. It, just like I said earlier on this episode, I wouldn't change anything about it. I can drink that black lager wherever I am, whether it's a campfire, playing darts, at a wedding, whenever it is, I would never get tired of it. And I can drink that every single day of my life.
Damn.
Cool. Well, I think I don't think I'm going to diverge too much.
Okay.
But I think in the bronze, I'm actually going to put the Cinnamon Ghoul. I like it. It's really bright. It's refreshing. Like Dennis said, it's different from a lot of the things that are out on the market. It's also not overly malty or overly sweet, which is something that happens sometimes. I'm thinking of the Blockhouse. The Blockhouse is a bit much. But yeah, so I definitely really enjoy the Cinnamon Ghoul, though, because it's just like such a nice, easy, bright drinker. Silver, I'm going to give to the Freemang, the Hazy IPA. I like it a lot. It's easy to drink. It's refreshing again. You know, all these beers that we've had tonight are just like nice and easy and refreshing. Like nothing is hurting you too much. Although I think if the Dead Goon was on the show, that would probably win. I do like that one a whole lot. And so gold again is also going to go to the black lager. I'm really surprised by this too, because I'm not the biggest lager fan. I'm not the biggest, I don't always like those, but I can definitely see myself like ordering a pitcher of this to play darts. Like Dennis said, this is such an easy drinker. This is an anytime drinker for the fall. Like you can put it at any event. If you bring it to a football party or take it anywhere you want, it's there. It's what it's good for. And it's kind of a shame that it only comes out right now for a charity event.
Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame about that.
Well, if it's going to come out for any event, might as well be a charity event for turtles.
Correct. Yes.
But with that, we're going to turn it over to Brewer Steve. And now it's our favorite time to make the brewer rank their babies.
You love all your children.
Right, yeah. So it's going to be personal preference for me as well. Probably, like I said, I like hoppy beers. So I like the Freemang just for the type of beer that it is. Drinkability, I think that the black lager would win over that, but I'm going to put the black lager second, so I'm going to say Freemang is my go-to. The black lager I'm really into right now, which is typically the case with whatever beer is freshest for us. It's kind of like, hey, I'm into this right now. And I'm not afraid to say that I like some pumpkin beers. We're really happy with the way that the Cinnamon Ghoul turned out this year, but I'll put that one third on the list.
Awesome. Still your time, because just give out any plugs or anything upcoming at Spoonwood, anything you want to talk about, just as a final plug to let everybody know all the good things that are going on here. I mean, you got so much. So.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, like you said, I think you said that this is going to be out the day before.
Yeah, this will be out on Friday. So.
The day before we do the turtle release, so we've got that coming up on Saturday, where you can get the cans or the limited draft of the black lager. The next day we've got the cornhole tournament where there are still a few spots left open. And actually the latest thing, it's fresh on my mind right now, one of the companies that we source hops from just put out a blend of hops that was selected by a few veteran-owned breweries, and so they're calling it, obviously enough, the Veterans Blend.
Okay.
And the hop company themselves will donate a certain amount of money for each pound that they sell, and we sign up to get a certain amount of those hops, and we're going to do a beer and we're going to release it on Veterans Day, not Veterans Day observed, which would be a Monday.
Right.
Veterans Day is actually Sunday this year, which
Right.
which we're open for. So this is the latest project that I have on my mind. I just came up with it this past week. So yeah, we're gonna do some type of hop forward beer and put it out, and this will probably be another charity type beer that we're gonna do. So I'm looking forward to that one.
What was that hop company called?
That's Yakima Chief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the
cool.
main guys there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might have to jump on and try to get a pound of that. Keep them fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, and of course, Brutal Beer Fest, October 20th, and
Can't wait for that.
yeah, obviously. that's
Super exciting.
Yeah, we're all going to be there, I think so.
Yep. Every one of us.
Cool. Well, if you want to find us on social media, all you have to do is search Hop Nation USA, and that'll get you Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you want to listen to brand new episodes of the Hop Nation USA podcast every Friday, as you should, just search Hop Nation USA on your favorite podcatcher like Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Music Play. And if you're on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review because...
We are a 6-star show, but they only let us use 5.
And that's the biggest crime in the world. It still helps our show grow. And it also helps our show grow by you just telling your friends to listen to the Hop Nation USA. And that's all I've got for this week. I want to thank Steve for coming on and making time for us and giving us some delicious beers.
Yeah, dynamite.
There's still plenty more. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, there's still plenty more that we didn't talk about.
I'm going home with a growler, and I feel like I'm not going to get that pizza, so I might take some of that dough at least.
So I'd also like to thank Dennis for coming on the show again.
Anytime, guys.
We
sure.
always appreciate it when you're here on the third mic. It's always a good time.
Yep, absolutely. If you guys are looking to connect with me, check out firsthitbrewbox.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, rarely. I know Steve yells at me all the time about that. But Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. We feature a different brewery every month. We get cool, unique beer swag from that brewery. And we partner with small mom-and-pop owned businesses over the U.S. that make cool things out of beer. We send it to your house. We make it easy.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Right on. Well, from the best brewery on Baptist Road, I'll say good night.